Yes, these in-house dogs, they have sort of a pack at the cat center. They all play with each other and they lay out in the sun together, along with the cat who thought she was a dog. And I'll tell you a little bit about their adoptions and how that works there. So they don't have any fee for adoptions. It's free, and actually you get free vet care for a year if you adopt a dog from the cat center. And they always visit people's houses beforehand and make sure they're educated about what dogs need. And so the rescue program helps about 40 to 60 dogs per month. And overall, they've rescued over 1,500 dogs in 4 years. So then their other major program is their education program. And so some children school groups come to the cat center, and also cat center staff go out to schools and orphanages. And they do a lot to publish different posters and brochures and flyers and things like that. And it's, the big picture of it is all to teach people to have compassion towards the dog community, and also to teach people how to avoid being bitten, which will help reduce the rabies among people. So here's one of the school groups that comes to the cat center, and they take tours of the kennels. And, they talk to a vet who explains to them a lot of what happens at the center. And they go into the reception room and look at all the posters and the displays. And it's interesting, some of these kids have really never gotten up close to a dog before. So it's neat to see them. They start out really timid and kind of poke at the dogs, and then pretty soon they get over that and get really comfortable with them. And then, and cat staff also go out to schools, and they have a video that they show them about the cat center, and they hand out flyers to all the kids so they have something to take home. So so these children are taught how to treat street dogs, and also how to take proper care of their own pets, and how to behave safely around dogs. Don't go running around in front of a street dog because it might bit you, things like that. And they're also just taught to feel a stronger sense of compassion towards animals, and especially street dogs. And on cat staff also, they go out to sort of different events and they set up booths, and sometimes they go to the busy neighborhoods and they try to educate people, hand out brochures, sell T-shirts. They work hard to publicize like World Animal Day and World Rabies Day to try to raise awareness.
How is rabies managed? You said many people die from it.
Yeah.
Are the dogs the main vector species?
Yeah. Monkeys are also, but it's mainly dogs.
What is the government, or is there an entity that manages that?
I don't think so. Generally, most often the way it's managed is if some people think a dog has rabies, they'll stone it to death. That's what usually happens. Hopefully they would call the cat center and they'd send over one of their vehicles to check the dog out and probably euthanize it.
But let me say, an official police agency doesn't respond to a call about a rabies suspect dog?
I don't know about that. If someone called the police and said there's a dog with rabies, I don't know what they would do. But definitely the most common thing is people, instead of trying to depend on the police, who may or may, even if the police said they would show up, they probably wouldn't. So people just take it into their own hands. That's the most common thing. Yeah, you really just can't depend on the government. The police, the court systems, they're just so ineffective that people have given up on them.
Yes. Are dogs on the menu anywhere?
No, not in Nepal. Actually, Nepal's pretty much vegetarian. Not strictly, but just by tradition. People very rarely eat meat, and they don't eat dogs or cats or horses.
Cows.
Yeah, definitely not cows. So this is an example of one of the posters that they make. And they have to educate people about some really basic stuff. Things like, do vaccinate your dogs. And if your dog gets sick, don't just abandon it. Take it to the vet. So it's you have to really start with the fundamentals with the education program. And also, the number of street dogs that an area can hold depends partly on how much trash is available for the dogs to eat. So they also try to educate people not to just leave their trash in big piles. And the trash is just, the way trash is typically dealt with is people just throw it in a pile, and maybe the next morning, maybe a few days later, somebody comes by in a truck and picks it up. So it's, that's definitely part of the problem, the way that's dealt with. And they have some other programs too, like sometimes one of the villages on the outskirts of the Kathmandu Valley will ask them to go up to that village for a day or for a weekend and do a rabies vaccination program. So, and these have been really successful. It's just sort of a quick hit and run mission. And so what they do is first they kind of lure the dogs in, and it looks like here they're getting broken up cookies. And they try to sneak up on the dogs with these burlap sacks. They throw the sack over the dog, tie it up, and then they give the dog a rabies shot.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere. It takes skill. It definitely takes skills. And they spray paint the dogs when they're doing this. They can keep track of who they've already vaccinated that day or that weekend. And then they'll let the dogs go where they found them. And these have worked really well to reduce rabies. And this, the spaying operation takes a lot longer, but just for rabies, this has gone really well. And yet they do all this though with so little to work with. Like here, they have sort of a pile of syringes on the grass because they're out in some little village and they just don't have any better way to do things. They're also about to start an animal-assisted therapy program for children. So they're really excited about that because I'm sure there's nothing like that in Nepal, and it's really rare in the developing world. So that's exciting. And there's something, and this is just fun. So Nepal has tons of festivals. There are probably hundreds of gods and goddesses, and it seems like everyone has their own festival day. And at one day during a special 5-day festival, there's a day specifically for dogs. And people give the dogs tikas, the sort of the smudge on the forehead, and they'll put garlands of flowers around their necks. And this happens all over Nepal. And most of the dogs just seem really confused by it. They're used to being ignored or just getting kicked around, and all of a sudden people are giving them treats and putting flowers around their necks. But at the Cat Center, this is the biggest day of the year. So it's lots of fun. It's chaotic. Lots of volunteers come, and people bring their dogs. The media come, and that's lots of fun. And and the cat. You couldn't leave out the cat. You can't neglect that cat.